Our next speaker, we have Meenal Meenakshee from SAP Product Landscape Owner from SAP Labs India. Meenal is a veteran SAP professional with over 17 years of experience in the IT industry. She possesses strong technical project and service management skills, operating in a global environment. With her strong IT leadership background and extensive experience with diverse IT operating models like DevOps, Agile, ITIL, she also drives several strategic business innovations and product-aligned deliveries within her organization, leveraging the digital capabilities across the business value chain. She's passionate about agile technologies and loves following the digital transformation journeys across industries. Her session title is DevOps versus Other IT Service Management Frameworks, an overview.
Hello and a warm welcome to one and all. I am Meenal Meenakshee, Product Landscape Owner at SAP Labs India. It's my privilege and honor to be speaking today and to share my insights and experiences at this very insightful DevOps India Summit. In my close to 20 years of experience in the IT industry, I'm often overwhelmed by the agility at which the IT organizations need to continuously adopt, evolve, and adapt in order to stay and remain successful in the market. In this era of digital transformation, continuous integration, continuous delivery, continuous deployment, automation, it is extremely important to have a solid IT service management strategy implemented within your organization, which is in alignment to your organization's goals and objectives. And this is becoming extremely important and critical more than ever before in this new era and digital world. While there are several service management methodologies and processes available today, I would like to take this opportunity to share some insight on how DevOps, ITIL, and SRE service management frameworks compare with each other. What are the vision, values, and what are the guiding principles which they offer? What are the commonalities and where are the key differences? And finally, as an organization, how can we decide which methodology or methodologies would be the right one to choose from or to adopt in order to remain successful in the transformation journey? And why is it continuously important to adapt and adopt? Traditional IT was seen more as a service and support organization delivering technology solutions to business. But in this era of industrial revolution, IT organizations are not only delivering services to business, but they are the business. IT and service and business are fast converging. The digital services are all customer-oriented and value-driven, and they need to be managed in a way that they are not only fulfilling the unique needs of the business, but they're also supporting in their growth. Because your product has value in the market for the customer only when it is providing the necessary services which the customer expects and yields the necessary outcome which the customer expects. So how do we know whether or not we are providing that value to the customer? And what is this business value? Business value is that differentiated experience, that total wholesome experience which our customer gets when consuming our highly effective services. So how do we know whether we are delivering it? As an organization, it is extremely important for us to continuously check whether or not our services, the products, the software that we're delivering is yielding the expected outcome for the customer. What has been the business impact on the customer? What has been the usage? What has been the return on investment for customers? How successful has it been? So how can we know this? And how can we know what the customer wants and why, and what would be the future needs of the customer? This requires data, this requires analysis, this requires prediction, this requires the usage of the modern tools and technologies, AI, ML, data science, the various reportings, ITSM dashboards, and metrics. And armed with all this information, we can then decide on building our epic, breaking it down into user stories, and decide on delivering what is right and what we want to deliver to the customer, which will yield the targeted value for the customer. But what we need to ensure is whether we are doing this right thing the right way. And this is where the guiding principles, the processes, the technologies, the framework offered by these IT service methodologies comes into picture. When you have this end-to-end overview of what the customer wants, what the future needs of the customer would be, and whether we are then doing the right thing in the right way, then you can confidently develop and deliver software and service to customers, which will yield the maximum value. So with this background, let us try and understand how DevOps, ITIL, and SRE service management frameworks address to this topic of delivering value to the customers. Now, DevOps is more an umbrella concept which advocates the collaboration of different teams coming together to increase the velocity at which software is being delivered to the customers with maintaining quality as well. So how can this be possible? So this requires a continuous development pipeline where you are continuously planning, building, continuously integrating, deploying, operating, receiving continuous feedback, which goes back into your development pipeline, thus forming an infinite loop. And this requires an increasingly high level of engagement with all the teams that contribute towards this value chain. Be it development, be it IT, be it operations, be it security, be it design, be it UI, be it documentation. So each and every team that contributes in one or the other way in the successful release of your product. DevOps suggests 3 ways by which we can achieve this. The first way is by considering IT as a system, where work should flow as fast as possible from left to right, which means from development, moving through testing, quality, security, and all the different life cycle phases through operations and finally reaching customer where value is getting created. Because value is seen only for a finished product. Work that is in process yields no value. So keeping the work package small, keeping your development pipeline small will help in delivering value faster to the customer, thus increasing the flow at which you are delivering software and services to the customer. The second way suggests to amplify the feedback loop, where you are continuously receiving feedback from right to left, from customers, from operations, from each and every node during the service life cycle to provide regular and continuous feedback so that you can continuously improve and enhance during your development life cycle. So this means not only increasing the number of feedback loops, but also the frequency at which you are receiving and giving feedbacks. And the third way talks about building a culture of continuous experimentation and learning. Fail often and fail early, because when you know that you are increasing your flow by keeping your development pipeline short, when you know that you are receiving continuous feedback, you also know that what is at risk is not too huge and too big. So this brings in a culture of risk enablement within the organization, and where you can continuously experiment and take failure as an opportunity to learn. So DevOps is more a culture where people from different disciplines are coming together to develop, design, deploy, and deliver product and services to customers. So in order to implement a DevOps culture within your organization, what are the guiding principles which we can consider for a successful DevOps? As we have several teams that comes together to work as one systems, which were earlier working in silos, it is extremely important to establish a very strong collaboration model within your organization, where each team and each member of the teams takes end-to-end responsibility and accountability of identifying and ensuring that there are issues and errors that are getting fixed during the development lifecycle before it even reaches production. With this, you're able to bring in a lot of technical value within your organization by not only ensuring continuous integration and continuous delivery, but also faster resolution of issues and bringing a stable and maintaining a stable environment within your organization. Each team needs to focus to automate as much as possible, automate anything and everything by considering everything as a whole. When you are receiving continuous feedback from each and every nodes while you are developing, this also ensures that you are continuously improving and working on those feedbacks during the development lifecycle. And this ensures that you are able to deliver that business value to the customer, where you are able to deliver software and service in high quality and with high velocity. And you are not only delivering bug fixes, but you have enough feedback and enough capacity to deliver new features and enhancements. And you're able to reduce the TCO for the customers. Invest in your people. Invest in embracing the risk-taking ability. Empower your people to take controlled risks. Consider failure always as an opportunity to learn. Always invest in knowledge upskilling and in knowledge sharing, because every team and every member of those teams are sharing the end-to-end responsibility of delivering software and services. And it is extremely important that every member is well-rounded with cross-functional skills. So you really need to keep people first, and then you become then your organization becomes a melting point for all new ideas and innovations, bringing in efficiency and bringing in a very positive culture within an organization. Now let us look at what is Google's approach towards service management. Site reliability engineering talks about increasing reliability at site for productive systems. It is a post-production set of processes and activities for ensuring operations at scale. And it works more on the principle of prevent, recover, and optimize, where you do whatever possible and wherever possible to prevent an outage, to prevent an error reaching production. This could be by providing input to architecture, by influencing development, ensuring resilient development and resilient testing, high focus on observability, monitoring, alerting mechanisms to ensure that all issues are already identified and prevented before it reaches production. And in case of an error, have an intelligent and a robust mechanism in place to recover as fast as possible. The mean time to identify an issue and to recover from that error should be as minimal as possible. This is possible through intelligent alerting and self-healing mechanisms. And then proceed with the post-mortem to do the root cause analysis of the issue that just occurred and identify the reason why it occurred, share the learning with the architecture, with the development to ensure that the error does not occur ever again in that system. And the third and the most important piece is about continuous optimization to eliminate toil. Toil is associated with anything that is associated to running a service, which is iterative in nature. This is the engineering in your site reliability engineering, where you are continuously engineering and re-engineering your system and testing your system to ensure its robustness and ensure optimization and efficiency in the system. So when you want to establish the SRE function within your organization, what are the guidance or the key principles that should be kept into consideration? SRE is a defined role of the site reliability engineers, and they need to collaborate a lot with the other engineers, with product owners, with business to come up with an aligned level of measurement, KPI, and targets. Hence, it is very important to have a robust collaboration model also in place with all the stakeholders here. SRE suggests to have objectives, well-defined objectives for each level of service that is being offered. And this is what pushes each teams to continuously meet that objective. And this is what then increases the flow of your software change to deliver quick changes to production. And when you have your SLO in place, always plan for an error budget. This is what will then control the velocity of the changes that is being shipped. When, how much change can be shipped and at what frequency, when to stop, and just stop if you have exhausted your error budget. Balance effective self-regulation of delivering features versus stability. You have to ensure that you are not delivering something which can disrupt the environment and which can bring any kind of an outage. Invest in automation. Automate your processes, automate your system as much as possible so that you can scale to take operations at scale and load. And consider failure as a learning opportunity. Always focus on blameless postmortem, because an error that occurs in the system is always an error in the system and is an issue in the system and never with an individual or a team. And this brings a lot of technical, business, and cultural value within the organization. And all this can be achieved when you are bringing in the concepts of software engineering into the infrastructure and operations functions. And that is why site reliability engineering is more about software engineering, software engineers working on operations and infrastructure functions. Now, having discussed about DevOps and site reliability engineering, let us see how these two service management frameworks compare to the very well-known ITIL service management framework. ITIL is by far the most commonly used and accepted service management framework till today. And it has continuously adopted to keep pace with the ever-changing market needs. Right from a very process-centric approach in ITIL 2.0 to a more service lifecycle approach in ITIL 3.0, where process built around the processes that were discussed in ITIL 2.0. ITIL 4.0 is the latest evolution of Axelos, which brings in the concept of a service value system, which embeds the service lifecycle within it. ITIL 4.0 basically focuses on co-creation of values. It talks about engaging with business right from the point in time where a demand is seen or identified till the value has been created. With ITIL 4.0, you are continuously engaging together with your stakeholders, together with business, right from planning to design, build, deliver, and support your product and services, and ensure that you have delivered the right value which the customer was expecting. And then, based on continuous feedback, build your new demand pipeline. So ITIL 4.0 is a digital operating model based on co-creation of values together with business for its IT-supported products and services. And like its several previous versions, even ITIL 4.0 provides a robust set of guiding principles and values which should be considered while implementing ITIL within an organization. ITIL suggests that you can start from where you are. Look within your organization, look at what is running good within your organization and what exactly needs to be improved, and just implement these guiding principles, the best practices and learning, and start from there. You need to collaborate. You need to bring the people across your organization on board with you in this journey, who understands that, yes, this is a problem and this needs to be solved. This can be achieved by maintaining a transparent and efficient communication model within the organization. And when you know the target that you want to reach, when you have your objective in place, break down your objectives into simple and practical deliverable workflows. This is what will then increase the flow at which you are delivering your software, your change to the customer. And when you know what is your target that you want to reach, start small, start with smaller chunks of changes, pass through the entire service life cycle, ensure that it created the right value that it was expected to create, and then again start iteratively and scale. Always have a holistic view. Your change should not break something that was already working. So it is very important that you always keep that holistic view in mind when you are working with the change throughout your life cycle. And always focus to optimize and automate, to not only invest in fixing bugs, but in ensuring there is enough capacity to be able to deliver new changes and features to customers. And with this, when you are working together with your business, the focus always is to ensure that you have delivered value to customers, the value that you targeted, and is also perceived the same by the customers. And this is when you are then able to bring in value also for your organization, both technical and cultural value within your organization, while you're delivering business value for the customers and for the market. Having said this, we see that be it any of the service management frameworks, DevOps, ITIL, SRE, or even any other service management frameworks, be it Agile, Lean, all are commonly aligned with the target to have an increased flow. We want to deliver software and services as fast as possible to the customer. We want to ensure quality by ensuring a very robust feedback pipeline, have a solid pipeline mechanism in place where each and every team and each and every node within the development lifecycle is always keen in receiving and in providing feedback. Each of the service management framework focuses on automation. There is an ever increasing focus on automation because this is what ensures quality at the first hand, as well as this ensures enough capacity to focus on new changes that can be delivered. And each of these service management frameworks invests on people, talks about people first, talks about creating a positive environment of experimentation and learning, enabling and empowering people to take controlled risks and to learn from opportunities. So having said this, where are then the key differences? Because as an organization, when you want to really adopt to one or more of these service management methodologies, it is really important to have an overview of how these methodologies work. And it is equally then important to know where are the key differences. This will help you decide on choosing or deciding on the right strategy to be implemented within your organization. So when you look at the overall goal that DevOps, SRE, and ITIL wants to achieve, they are differences. DevOps focuses more on the speed and quality of delivery of software and services. It talks about velocity with quality. While site reliability engineering, SRE, focuses on scaling uptime robustness. It ensures management of systems at scale with load. And ITIL is more focused on ensuring that service is delivered with quality and consistency. Now, this requires that when we are delivering these changes to the customer, to the market, the way these changes are managed, the way the error is handled is as well different. So for DevOps, it follows or it delivers changes in a more gradual manner, smaller changes gradually and continuously via the continuous integration and continuous delivery. And it focuses on handling error at pre-failure stage, right during the development life cycle, and trying to ensure its best from preventing an error to reach production. Site reliability engineering focuses on quick changes being delivered to the customer as long as it is within the error budget. And error handling is more at a post-failure activity. where you focus then on the root cause to analyze why an incident has occurred at production, and then you ensure to bring it back into the pipeline, the learnings, to see that the error is completely removed and eliminated from the system. And for ITIL, the changes are managed via the defined governance model. It flows through the defined governance model. It flows through the different life cycle phases till it reaches customers. And error handling is part of the problem management phase in that life cycle. Even the way in which DevOps, SRE, and ITIL operates is quite different. And they are different to ensure that they are then able to achieve the focus or the goal that they target at. So DevOps is a more multidisciplinary approach where we are breaking down silos and bringing in all the teams across the value chain coming together and working as one system. And SRE is a defined team with defined roles of software engineers who are bringing in their concepts of software engineering into the infrastructure and operation functions. While ITIL does not really require the formation of any separate team, but believes more on a symbiotic relationship between the customers, between the business, and the IT organization. Hence, also is the difference in the value chain throughout for DevOps, SRE, and ITIL. So DevOps starts right from development, as we just see, that it focuses more from moving or increasing the flow from left to right. Now, from development and ensuring continuous feedback, that you are able to deliver quick and deliver in high quality to customer. So your DevOps principles and your DevOps strategy starts right from your development phase. While for SRE, it starts with production. Because when an event has occurred at production or post-production, that is when you bring in those learnings back into the pipeline, back into development. While for ITIL, it is wrapped around the entire service value chain. And also, the way the success of DevOps, SRE, or ITIL is measured, the performance metrics is as well different. So for DevOps, we measure the success of DevOps based on deploy frequency, lead time, or the change failure rate. While for site reliability engineering, it is more focused based on the SLOs, the SLIs, the agreements that we have, the SLAs, or the mean time to recovery. And for ITIL, it is more based on the ticket volume, the cost, the change success rate, or the SLAs that were aligned. So with this, how can an organization decide which way is then the right way? Whether it should be a DevOps organization or an SRE or an ITIL. So there is no real right answer to this. There is no real right way or wrong way. It entirely depends on the target that your organization wants to achieve. What is your current state of service management and where you want to achieve, where you want to reach. And based on that, your organization need to selectively decide wholly or in partly which service management strategy would best fit their requirement. Because it is neither an either or relationship, nor is it that it can only be one or the other service management framework. You can decide parts of the service management framework being applied at different parts within your organization. You need to really find the right hammer for the nail that you want to fix. So as I mentioned, it is the target that should drive your decision. It is very important to assess your current state of service management. So you should always question these 5 whats before you are deciding on the right service methodology for your organization. You need to really know and understand what is the problem. And is the entire organization in alignment with you that this is the problem and this is what needs to be solved? And in case there are multiple problems, then are you all in alignment on how to prioritize it? You need to really have a helicopter's view of your organization. You need to understand the scope and the scale of transformation that you will have to go through when you want to bring in this transformation, while adopting any of these service management methodologies. What is the solution that you want to achieve or that you would apply, and why? Yeah, different problems can have different solutions. And it is important here to also know what is really running good within your organization, not only focusing on what you want to improve, because you would definitely not want to disrupt what is already running fine. And this is also going to help you decide which of the service management methodology can be implemented, which will bring a minimal disruption for what is already running quite good for your organization, but rather enhance it and help in improving what you really want to focus on. And where should you start? Target that portion of your IT organization where you can bring this change, which will have the maximum impact. Always remember that this kind of transformation can never be done overnight within an organization. It is a continuous and continued journey where it takes time till you evolve and adapt, and you continuously improve to enhance and apply these service management frameworks within your organizations. And finally, it is equally important to know what are the indicators at which you would measure your performances. How would you measure the success of your transformation? And when you have achieved that, when you know what you have to nail, and when you have found the right hammer to nail it, then you are ready to nail it, and then you are ready to scale. Always remember to start small. Always start with smaller changes within your organization. See that it has been successful, and then you have to continuously adapt and adopt within your organization to reach and continuously deliver value to the customer. Be it any service management methodology that you adopt, DevOps, ITIL, SRE, or any of the other service management methodologies, you will only be successful if you are able to continuously adopt and adapt. If your organization, if the people within your organization are continuously adapting and evolving to the changing needs. Because digital transformation sits at the heart of people and culture. It is not only about technology and processes. It is as much about cultural and behavioral changes as much as it is about technology. So you cannot bring in this transformation only by bringing in new and different or modern tools and technologies. You need to have that right mindset within your organization, that right culture, the people first approach, a clear understanding, a clear communication, a clear guidance which flows in, and a clear leadership where each team within the value stream understands the importance and understands the background of the changes that are being developed and being deployed, and are ready to continuously adopt and adapt. So the future of service management is definitely bright, whether you look at it from an IT lens or from the business perspective. And as long as you are continuously evolving with the flow, you are ready to confidently develop and deploy with velocity, with quality, by meeting the customer's expectations and by keeping your system and infrastructure stable. Having said this, I would like to thank all of you for your patient hearing, and many thanks to DevOps India Summit for this opportunity to share these insights about the different service management frameworks, especially the adoption of DevOps, ITIL, and SRE. Thanks a lot.